Does your website need more traffic? Well, visit overflowcafe.com today. They make websites popular, and over 41,000 people use their service to gain more customers. They are winning at business. What about you? Visit overflowcafe.com today.
Hi, this is your girl T with Rockefeller's Barbershop, located at 1733 Babcock in San Antonio, Texas. Whether you're looking for a haircut, a shave, braids, dreads, weaves, color, we do it all here at Rockefeller's. You can hit me up at 210-884-9046. That's for call or text. And on Facebook and Instagram at Takesha Williams. That's TAKESHIA William. And you're listening to us now on I Am Refocused podcast on iHeartRadio.
You are listening to I Am Refocused podcast special edition with your host, Shemaya Reed. This podcast is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. Now, let's tune in into today's podcast.
This is I Am Refocused podcast, and today we have an awesome show for you guys. It's a special edition because, as you know, on Thursdays we are at Rockefeller's Barbershop. So shout out to Rico Rodriguez, the owner of Rockefeller's Barbershop. Before I get into today's show, let's give some shout outs to our sponsors. Miss Kim of River City Donuts, San Antonio, Texas. That's 1723 Babcock Road. Some awesome fresh donuts. Baby McClinton on sports speed and conditioning. He's training NFL, NBA players. If you want to see his portfolio, go to allsportsfitness.net. And also want to give a shout out to D.W. Brooks Funeral Home. And last but not least, big shout out to overflowcafe.com. If your website is in need for more traffic, if you're a business owner and you need more traffic, make sure you go there. Today we have an awesome guest. Her name is Christa Deánā. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. So you're a gospel singer, songwriter from Philadelphia, and you just came out with a single in February of this year, If God Doesn't Want It.
Yep, you got it.
So tell us a little bit about that song.
Well, that song actually originally wrote when I was 13, oddly enough. It's kind of weird, but it kind of just came to me. It just really made sense. I don't think it made as much sense then as it does now. You know, the older you get, the more experiences you go through. This is actually the third version of the song because I rehashed it when I was 16 and then the final version as of recently. And I was on tour in Florida. And I asked my husband, you know, if he could add like a little hip hop feel and if he could rap to it. And it just kind of came together. So we're really, really happy with how it turned out.
And tell us a little backstory about yourself. When did you get started in just taking music seriously, trying to make it a career?
Well, taking it seriously and making a career are two different answers for me personally, just because music was always a priority to me. It was always how I communicated, how I expressed myself. I don't really remember doing much else other than arranging or playing the piano or singing in church or whatever. It was just always music. But I always felt like I was supposed to be on stage. It always felt very natural to me to like perform my songs. But I mean, you don't want to be that kid that says, hey, I'm going to have a pipeline dream and you won't see me on stage. I'm going to be a singer. Like, no, nobody does that. Like some people do, but you feel a little ridiculous, you know? So I was trying to keep it to myself for a very long time. And it wasn't until recently where it just kind of came to a point in my life where it was like, okay, you're not happy. So are you going to like, you know, follow your heart, follow what's clearly been put inside of you and just do it? Or are you going to continue to fight against all odds? And probably about 2 years ago, I decided, you know what, I am going to be in process and in pursuit of doing this full time. And it was the best decision I ever made. Honestly, I wish I did it sooner.
And, you know, checking out your bio, you have been involved with several choirs that's taken you to multiple places. And we're not just talking about over, United States. We're talking about Turkey, France, Spain, England. Tell us a little bit about that. How did that opportunity present itself?
Well, I am super grateful that I had the chance to do things like that. I went to 2 different high schools, and both of the high schools were known for their choirs. And that was the main reason that I selected those schools. So it all worked out, and those experiences really helped to open up my mind and to appreciate other cultures and other kinds of music, and just the life that I have in America, even non-musically. It just really opened up my eyes. And if you are ever considering going to other countries, but like not in a tourist way, in a, hey, let me abide with you, let me really sense your vibe and see what it's really like to be in your shoes, I highly recommend that. It will change your life forever.
If you're just now tuning in, we are talking to Christa Deánā, and she is a singer, Christian singer, and songwriter. And I want to ask you about how has the experience, how's the journey been so far, being a co-owner of Christa Court Productions?
Well, I'm loving it because I'm my own boss. I never thought that I would be that kind of person to own their own business, but it just kind of worked out that way. It really, really works for me. It's a lot of work. And I mean, if anybody's listening that has their own business or is their own artist, you know how much the behind the scenes process take. You know why those people that are popular, those people that make a living off of their talents and their skills, why they have a full team, because there are so many ins and outs, so many details that people really don't understand that has to go into promoting this person and allowing them to be portrayed and known about in a positive light. So it's a lot of work. It really, really is. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm so grateful that I can actually be in charge of my own music, making great music. That's just a miracle in itself. And the co-owner is actually my father. His name is Courtney and I'm Christa. So together we make Christa Court Productions, and just really loving it. Really, really grateful to do what I love.
That's awesome. So does your dad handle the contracts and like paperwork and stuff, and you just do the creative stuff, or is it a little bit of both?
Yeah.
Okay. I can relate to that because with my business, my mom is my co-owner. She does all the paperwork and, making sure all the checks are going through. So that's pretty awesome, keeping the family. So I like that direction. As an entrepreneur then, what's some of the things that you have to always learn as you're developing your business model? Because it's cutthroat. It's crazy out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure. I've learned a lot. But I would say the biggest thing that I have learned is understanding that you have to know who you are and what you have to offer and what your goals are. Because other than that, it's very easy to, like you said, it's cutthroat. So it's really easy to, be discouraged by all of the success of other people in your field that may be going around you, and you feel like, oh man, I'm not noticed or whatever, or the timing is off or whatever that is. And then the other struggles is just being able to tell somebody like why you're worth their time. And so without being able to know how to, why you're doing what you're doing and how to tell somebody, hey, this is why I am worth your time. It's hard. It's hard because like you said, there's just so many. So if there's anything that I've learned and anything that I would pass on within the business is fully understanding your business, your goals, and how you can benefit either your area or worldwide. It just really depends on your goal.
As an artist being, in the Christian genre, You know how some people think, as far as if you're doing business and you're a Christian, you have to have that sweet balance of ministry / well, I have to eat and pay the bills. How do you keep that focus on just still ministering people, but at the same time, you have to eat?
Yeah. That's something I'm learning for sure, especially the more people that come on the team, the more people that I am the boss of. I don't know a better term. I'm using air quotes because I don't like to see myself as a boss, but I mean people that I have to delegate orders to, let's say that. Mm-hmm. And there's always a very, very difficult point when it's like, oh, you're a Christian, so I'm supposed to be so nice and just be okay with everything you do. Jesus loves you. Yeah. But then, no, you have to do your job. Or if I'm giving a service, hey, are you going to pay me? It is a really, really hard balance. I'm not going to lie, because I do think that a lot of people, unfortunately, even if they're working for you or if they're using your services, have in mind, oh, they're a Christian, so it's cool. And like you said, no, this is how I have to eat. And honestly, because I'm a Christian, I should be that much more serious about it. And if there's anything that I'm learning, I feel like that's what I'm really understanding, is that there's lives at stake. I'm not just doing this because this is cool and because this is fun. And it surely ain't for the money. I'm doing this because I have to, because it's who I'm called to be. That's what I'm called to do. So every move that I make has to be incredibly intentional and has to be at top quality level. I don't think there's any way that you can say you're doing something for a cause bigger than yourself and not do it with a lot of intentionality and a lot of discipline. So sometimes I do have to be a little tough, and sometimes I do have to speak about money. But it just comes with the job. It comes with the job. There's you don't have to be rude, but you can most certainly be confident when you handle your business.
Sometimes I like to think of it in this perspective. Two things. Number one, say you're working a 9 to 5. Well, what if you clock out and they say, oh, we're not going to pay you?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Or number two, say you go to a fast food restaurant. I won't drop any name or anything like that. And you get your burger and fries and shake, and you're like, oh, thanks for your ministry. I'm going to minister this to my stomach, and I might come back next week and pay you. If it doesn't work there, it shouldn't work in anybody's business. Because like you said, you got to eat. This is what you do for a living. It's your passion. And speaking on that, the music industry is always changing. And it went from tapes to CDs to now royalties on, TuneCore, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify. How do you, as an artist and also being your own boss, how do you adapt to all the new resources that seems to be available and changing every month?
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's not a game. And I feel like this is really informative for people that, again, maybe trying to do this thing but don't really know. It is always changing. So my solution has been to be available everywhere. I don't want ever somebody to be like, oh, I looked for the song, but I couldn't find it, so I gave up. Out of sight, out of mind. There's just so many things to grab people's attention. If they can't get it when they want it, it's gone. There's the chance of them thinking about it again is slim to none. So even something as simple as making sure you are tight in that Google search engine where they can Google your name and they can find whatever they need, that has been super beneficial to me, because I'm receiving either contact information or income from downloading the song from numerous platforms. Some people like to listen on YouTube. Some people like to download on iTunes. Some people like Google Play. Some people like #1 Music. Some people still like Reverb Nation. You wouldn't believe it. So just make sure you are accessible everywhere.
There might be someone who still like MySpace, but we'll just leave it at that.
Oh, no, please. don't tell me, though.
I mean, you never know. But
you never know.
Speaking of just keeping keeping that access open for potential fans, how do you, especially Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, how do you keep up with just everyday marketing? You know, you got to post here and you forget, oh man, I got to post on 2 more pages because, you know, if one starts slacking off, then you start losing people's interest.
Yeah, that's also super real. I would say that it had to become a job for me. I consider myself in charge of many jobs within the business that I would eventually like somebody to handle. But right now, as the social media platform, as a social media job, I have tech checklist of things that I need to either do weekly, daily, and then I'm making sure that they're all linked so that I can just put the same thing over there. Or sometimes I can't. Sometimes I have to do it individually based on the wording because I know I have a different fan base on this platform versus the other platform. But don't take it for granted. Like, you have to be faithful with this thing, because if people are expecting you to be on there every day and like, let's say on my Snap or on your Insta Live, your story, and they're used to seeing your story and they don't see your story, well, you know what? They might just think, oh, okay, I'm just going to watch somebody's stories, and you lost them as a viewer. It has to be a very, very disciplined part of your job, because that's just the world that we live in now. We live in, hey, do I like you as a person based on social media? Then maybe I'll listen to your song.
And that's a good way to look at it, because wherever you are, it's just an extension of your platform as you as a person. And it's very important to have your brand intact as far as focus, laser focus of who you are as a person and having that passion. And speaking of passion, I mean, you had this since about 11, right? Like, you had your first original song you wrote at age 11?
Mm-hmm.
Now, going back in time from starting writing and singing, faith has been a big part of your whole process. How has it been an impact on your personal life?
Oh my gosh. Well, in a super candid answer, I just wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my faith. I struggled with bullying, which I mentioned in my bio video, and it was really, really tough for me. And I seriously considered suicide. And if it wasn't for a supernatural experience that I had within my faith, I probably wouldn't have made it, just because the depression was so hard for me. And every day I grow. Every day I experience more peace. I experience more confidence within myself, being able to interact, have healthy relationships, choosing healthy relationships. Like, my faith has helped me to make good decisions that has made a life so much, way easier than I thought that it could ever be. I can never put a price on the peace of mind that I have. So I'm really, really grateful for that. Really, really grateful.
And with you as a music artist that people can look up to, especially the younger generation, what's some of the things you would like to tell that part of the audience, the young people, as far as maybe there's some who might have faced bullying or just confidence issues? What's some of the things that you can tell them to lift up their spirits?
Well, I would tell them exactly what I wish somebody told me, which is, and you have to receive this though, like, I know we hear it and we say it all the time, but this too shall pass, in the sense that it seems like it is dark and it is irreparable, but it will absolutely get better. And it will get better because once you overcome something, you become stronger and you become a much better person, ready for the next situation, you know? And of course, bullying is something so just, I can't put a word on it. And it is not your fault. there are always going to be people that may be jealous or malicious for no reason, or they just feel insecure about themselves and they don't really know what to do with it. But it is not your fault. You have value. You have something to offer the world. And if you could just get through this phase, discover the wonderful beauty within yourself, inside and out. I guarantee you may not see it right now, but if you can dive deep, try out new things, start exploring and see what you have to offer and why you are worth it. Get through it and trust me, they'll be sorry. Take my word for it. They will be sorry because you're great. You're going to be great and you're already great.
And your music is evidence of that. What's some of the things that you look forward to? Because I know you're working on an album for later in the fall of this year, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. That's what we're working on right now.
Hey, I love when my homework works out. Tell us a little bit about that, that feeling of, you know, you're about to have something brand new again for the world to hear. How does that feel when, you know, things you plan out is coming to reality?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's that. Oh, how do I put that into words? Good Lord. It's overwhelming because especially for me, I've been writing for a very, very long time. And doing this thing, honestly, Dad and I have had this company forever, since I was like 12. I'm not even lying to you. Like, we've had the songs copyrighted, we've had the studio in the home, and I mean, not like I'll let y'all hear none of that stuff because we've grown a lot, but we've been at it for a minute. So to see some fruits of the labor coming back where people are like, oh my gosh, you guys produced that? I thought it was an official thing, or just really blown away by the song and how well received the song is. I'm just so grateful. So grateful. And I know that this has nothing to do with me. This is bigger than me. And I'm just really, really glad to be a part of it. And I'm excited to see what the future holds, which does tie to my album that's going to be released in the fall. It's self-entitled, and it really, really goes over what the very organic walk of a Christian, you know, the highs and lows, the triumphs, the disappointments. And it's very eclectic, I would say. Yes, the core of my sound is R&B, but there's definitely like little limbs off of the tree branch, if I can. Like there's songs that have more of an 80s feel, or more of a trap feel, or maybe there's just a poem, or maybe there's just theatrical crying. I'm saying maybe, like I don't know. Yes, but I mean the album, I feel like I modeled the album off of MJ, rest in peace, Michael Jackson, and how he's really set up his career where you don't have to like all of his songs. You don't even have to like him. But there is one song that is your jam. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. Everybody has their Michael Jackson jam. And that's how I model myself after. Every song is a little different. They have the same core, but there's always going to be one of the songs that just resonate with you more than it resonates with somebody else. So I cannot wait to release this album. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be wild.
I like that you mentioned Michael Jackson, because one of my ultimate favorite songs is Man in the Mirror. Because, you know, if that ever made one of the books in the Bible, it'd be in the last one. But, man, that song is so true. I mean,
yeah,
it's just, I like looking at things with analogies and breaking things down from its simplest form, because a lot of times we like to make life very complex, and reality is not that complex. I like saying it's not that deep. Like, it's really not that deep. It's not rocket science. It's not heart surgery. You know, sometimes you just got to be simple and just enjoy life. And if people can learn how to enjoy life, then they have a better opportunity and chance to discover their passion. Because a lot of times we're watching everybody else's plate, and everyone else is on chapter 40 and we're still on chapter 3. And we wonder why we're not enjoying life. Well, you gotta get yourself out the way. And quoting MJ, take a look in that mirror and make that change. But yeah, I'm not I'm not going down that road. But for you as, you know, a Christian artist, say someone listening right now and they're like, oh, what's this Christian stuff? I get the heebie-jeebies when I hear somebody say they're a Christian. I mean, that's how it feels like sometimes, you know. You feel like if you pull out the Christian card, it's all targets on you and you're about to get taken out by somebody. Mm-hmm. How do you share your point of view or your faith with someone who might be interested, but they never took the chance to learn more about it?
Well, I just start with my experience and with my presentation. I feel like, unfortunately, very often Christians feel like either they have to be perfect or they come off as super judgmental. And neither of those are attractive to other people. So if we could just start with saying, you know what, I do have my struggles. I like the same things you do, but this is my solution. And, you know, it's worth a shot. There's no harm done. And it doesn't even have to be a church thing. Like, it doesn't have to be a religion thing. Jesus by himself, hey, he just wants to love on you. And he just wants you to be the best version of yourself. That's it. So I just try to share, you know, hey, it works for me. This is my testimony. I have a scroll full. If you have time, we can talk, we can chat. And I always let people know that I'm available if they have any questions at all. It could be something stupid. It could be something super intellectual. And I may not know all the answers, but the least I can do is pray for you and help point you in the right direction and just give you my honest, candid answer on and the spin on things. And then hopefully that plants a seed and then somebody else will water it.
That's a good illustration. When it comes to you, where you are right now and where you used to be, what has been the most enjoyable process? Like, was there ever a moment where you was like, aha, the light bulb kicks on?
Wow. Yes, definitely. But there's been many light bulbs because there's been many challenges that I had to overcome. I was incredibly insecure and I cared way too much about what other people thought. So much so that I just ended up in my early 20s and I was like, oh, yo, who's this girl though? Like, I don't even know my favorite color. I mean, it was ridiculous. I was just like stranded in space, completely clueless of who I was, what I wanted to wear, what I enjoyed, who I wanted to be with. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. And I was just like, you know what? Snip, snip, snip. I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off. And it's not personal, but I just need to get myself together because I cannot even give you my best self if I don't know who I am. So I spent some time by myself. I actually went on a mission trip in Cuba, which was the best thing for me because I couldn't communicate with anyone really. And I've had some really, really, really awesome experiences with God and seeing how much the faith mattered to the Christians in that country and how little they had, but they were so confident in who God made them, and that made everything okay. And I was so envious of that. So envious. So I figured it out. I worked on forgiving others. I worked on forgiving myself. I started doing like some Pilates and spending time in prayer and just trying really hard to gain some peace because I also suffered from anxiety. But again, when you care about what other people think, of course you're going to be anxious all the time. You're stressing about something you can't control. So I had to get that out of the way. And it is unreal that I am the confident, self-assured person that I am today, where I'll love hard. I'll love hard on anybody. I don't care who you are. But at the end of the day, I have to stay true to who I am. And being able to find that balance, I'm so grateful for. So grateful for.
Staying true to who you are. You guys heard it. right here on I Am Refocused podcast. In this platform, we highlight people who are successful in their career. And before we wrap up this show, it feels like we started like 2 minutes ago. What's some words of wisdom that you would give to not just music artists, but people in general who might maybe haven't seen the best of their days and they're just going through little valleys? What's some words of wisdom that they can hold on to from you with your personal experience?
Well, I would definitely start with the little things. I would start noticing the little things that brighten up your day. Maybe you have on your favorite pair of socks right now, or maybe you just had your favorite meal, or maybe the sun was out and you didn't expect it to. Honestly, starting there makes a world of good, because sometimes we look at this big picture like, oh my gosh, the bills are paid next month. I need money for the bills next month. Okay, well, you know what? It's not next month. It's today. And I do that too. I'm stressing about things that might work out, oh, I'm never going to get married. Okay, but you have time. And I'm not saying that these things are going to work out, but we don't know if they are or if they are not. So if we could just take it one day at a time and not comparing ourselves to other people's walk, other people's situation. Comparison kills. It will take away your joy. You can be happy about that little hoodie you got on, and you see somebody else's hoodie and now you feel bad about your hoodie. No. You liked your hoodie regardless of whether or not they were around. Just enjoy the things that you have. Even something so simple, because you know what? God does care about the little things. He cares about the little things so much. He could open up. I know sometimes I'm like, hey, can I get a close parking space to the grocery store? Bam, close parking space. Ooh, I'm happy for the next couple hours. You know what I mean? So just take it moment by moment, day by day. Do your very, very best to find hope in everything, because there is hope. There's absolutely hope. Is crazy how sometimes people can get, just caught off guard. It can be literally somebody got more likes than me on Facebook, or someone has a following that I wish I had. And it's well, it's funny because once you get it, then, you're in the same boat. So it's until you really are happy with yourself and happy with what you already have, you will never appreciate the things other people already have. So true. If you can manage $5, how you gonna expect to have 5 million? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But man, I'm not gonna preach, man. That's not how I do it. But before we close this episode, who you want to give a shout out to?
Ooh, I want to give a shout out, of course, to my dad, co-owner of Christa Productions. Also to my husband, babe, you're the best producer ever. You rock. To all of my students ever, good Lord, that's a lot because I'm a music teacher. Well, half and half, on and off. So all of my music students, I love you. I'll always be your mama. To all of the clients at Christa Productions, to the entire team working with Christa Deánā, I cannot thank you guys enough for what you do. And we're doing this thing, so let's kill it.
I like it, man. That's the attitude we all gotta have, because I hate to digress and go into another 20 minutes because I can easily talk for another hour. But man, I'm not no Baptist or nothing like that. But I have to say this, man. I don't care. I gotta say this. So this one guy I have on the show, young entrepreneur in his early 20s. I'm late 20s, but this dude has it on lock. And he said this one thing that stuck with me on this show. At the barbershop, he said, why do people not believe in their brand? He said, look at the biggest ones in the game. Look at Apple, look at Starbucks, look at Best Buy, look at NFL, NBA, and he just kept dropping all these different places. He said, do they doubt the way we doubt ourselves? Do you see them managing their social media, their marketing campaigns, their networking, their conference calls, blah, 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 with their head down, thinking that, oh, it's not meant to be? Nah. he was saying when you put the same energy that they put in their brand, we all struggle. There's not one person that did not have to struggle to build their brand and their platform. The thing is, when you know your purpose and what you are here for, then guess what? It'll take care of itself. It'll grow naturally. Because what happens, like you were saying earlier, somebody see a blue hoodie and you got a black hoodie, all of a sudden everything's all depressing.
Right.
So, man, I had to say that because I wanted to tag team on what you were saying with self-worth, because I think a lot of people nowadays are losing the ability to recognize how great they really are. And they find themselves struggling over the same topics. And it's like, how many times I just had a discussion, man. I told you it's going to turn in 10 minutes. I had a discussion with a coworker about, some people are still on the hamster wheel. So when they see people walking, it looks foreign. And they're like, wait, you're not supposed to be walking down that block. You're supposed to be on the hamster wheel like everybody else. Well, you're not everybody else. You got your own fingerprint and your own gift. Explore it and make it happen.
Yep.
So that was a drop mic moment, man. So I didn't mean.
Well said. Well said.
Man, before we wrap this up, any last thoughts, man? Any big things happening, events, or just something you want to tell your fans?
Absolutely. Well, there's a lot of different engagements coming up, but the best way for us to stay connected and for you to find out, just go straight to my website, ChristaDeana.com. That's ChristaDeana.com. Make sure to sign that mailing list. It's right on the homepage. And then also, new merch is coming out, but you got to join the mailing list. You can find out how to buy a t-shirt. And then there's my blog, and the songs are up there too. So go straight to my website and also follow me on social media. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Again, anywhere where you like to use your media stuff or listen to things, you can find me at Christa Deana.
There you guys have it. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast with this awesome guest, Christa Deana. She brought it down. She dropped some golden gems for y'all. I want you to share this with every artist out there who are trying to learn how they can be effective and do great things with their brand, with their ministry, with their songs. And make sure you definitely keep in touch with Christa, and we might have to bring her back when that album drops.
Oh, sounds good. I can't wait. I'd love to.
Well, we never want to close this broadcast without saying this last statement. Keep God first, stay focused, and peace.